Sarah here, and today's exercise tutorial is the air squat. Yay! Alright, so today I'm going to show you how to air squat and how to get better at doing them. So let's first take a look at our stance. Now, we all have a slightly different hip joint anatomy, which means that we're all going to adopt a slightly different stance. What stance is that going to be? Well, it's going to be the one that's most comfortable for you. So for me, I like to have just slightly wider than hip width stance and my toes angled outwards. But other people will prefer to have a narrower stance or even have their toes pointing forward. So I recommend you experiment with a few different foot placements to find what is most comfortable for you. I'm not a big fan of cues like drive your knees out when you squat, because it's not about where you're sticking your joints, but rather it's about what muscles you are using when you're performing the movement. And it's the movement that will drive the joint position, not the other way around. Let me demonstrate the air squat. So the first thing I do is get into my comfortable foot position. Then I activate my external obliques, the muscles on the sides of your body here. How do you activate those muscles? Pretend I'm about to punch you really hard below the belly button. What are you going to do? You're going to brace. And when you brace, you feel the external obliques engage. Now the goal is to keep those external obliques engaged throughout the entire squat. So let's take a look. External obliques engaged, and I shoot my hips down and back, then I bend the knees. Now not only are my external obliques engaged, but I'm also using my inner hamstrings to take me down. So for me, I can get pretty deep while keeping the external obliques engaged. Then I come back up using my inner hamstrings and my glutes, and I squeeze my glutes at the top. Let's take a look at that from the side. External obliques engaged, shoot my hips down and back, then I bend the knees. I'm engaging my inner hamstring muscles, keeping the external obliques engaged. They're still engaged. What would happen if they stopped being engaged? Ready? Watch. I would butt wink. So that means you need to stop at the depth right before you lose engagement in your external obliques. So how do you improve your external obliques? Well, if you click the card, I also made a video on 3 exercises that can help you to strengthen, improve the mobility in your external obliques. These are exercises that I do every single day for my external obliques, and it's made me a better athlete. So what if you can't maintain tension in your external obliques as you go deeper? Well, don't worry, it just means you can't do that yet. So this is what it would look like for you. So you would be squatting to about parallel. So the more you improve your external obliques, the better your squat will get. What if you are brand new to air squatting? Well, congratulations for being here. I'm really excited that you're embarking on this important odyssey. So if you're a beginner and you don't feel comfortable doing the squat, you feel like you're going to fall backwards onto your bottom, then I recommend you get a bench. Let me show you. Okay, so I got a bench, and what's cool about this bench is that it puts me in the perfect parallel position. Get into your comfortable foot position, external obliques engaged. Notice I shoot my hips back and down first, then I bend the knees. I'm using my inner hamstrings, and I'm going to kiss the bench and come back up, squeezing my glutes at the top. So this is what we don't want to see. Now I'm going to show you what not to do. I'm really good at this. So when you're squatting, make sure you don't veer forward like this. Don't let your heels come off the ground. And don't lose engagement in your external obliques so that you don't end up butt winking. Don't initiate the squat with your knees either. You always want to initiate your squat at the hips first. Then you bend the knees. You really send your butt back and down. Watch my ear when I squat. Notice it goes in a line straight up and down. Make sure your ear doesn't do this. Veer forward of that straight line. Now there's a reason why this diving forward happens. It's because your quads are dominant. They're dominating the muscles on the backs of your legs, your posterior chain. And when that happens, there's a tug of war happening between the muscles on the front and the muscles on the back. The muscles on the front are winning, and that's why you end up veering forward. Quad dominance is not a good thing. Quad dominance can lead to horrible knee pain. It feels like somebody's stabbing razors into your patellar tendons. How do I know? Because I used to be very quad dominant. I joke and call it my fourth hamstring, and I know what it's like to have that horrible pain. If you want to improve your air squat, well, I already discussed the major muscles implicated, so that means devoting time each week to improving the strength and mobility in your external obliques, and I gave you the exercises for that, as well as your inner hamstrings. So that means learning how to properly hinge at the hips. So for example, stiff leg deadlifts, conventional deadlifts, Dimmel deadlifts. That would be a great start. Now, when I first embarked on the air squat odyssey, my posterior chain was so weak that I felt like I was going to fall backwards. So that's why I used the stool. But another trick I did was widening my stance. By having a wider stance, it made it a lot easier for me to understand the concept of initiating the squat at the hips first, sending the butt back and down, and pretending that I'm sitting down onto a chair and then getting back up. Take a look from the side. Hips first, then the knees. I'm using my inner hamstrings. My external obliques are on fire. Come back up. I strongly recommend you video yourself from the front view as well as the side view. It's important to video yourself from the front view so you can see if you're squatting symmetrically or if you have a hip shift. So this is what it would look like to have a hip shift. Having a hip shift is not a good thing at all, especially if you're loading yourself up with weight, because, well, over time this could lead to a lot of problems such as back pain, a disc herniation, knee pain. So that's why I keep harping on you to engage both external obliques, because when you do that, it helps to keep you symmetrical. Videoing yourself from the side view will allow you to see if you're quad dominant, if you're diving forward with the knees, if you're butt waking, and if your heels are coming up off the ground. Now, if you want to get better at doing a whole bunch of air squats in a row, then it's time to also take a look at how you are breathing. So let me show you how to coordinate your movement with your breathing so that you can stay calm and bang out a boatload of air squats. Okay, listen. On the way down, I'm going to inhale through my nose. On the way up, I'm going to exhale through pursed lips. Now take a closer look. Watch as I inhale on the way down. Did you notice when I stopped inhaling that coincided with my true mobility? Watch again. That's where my true mobility ends. You know, this is really cool feedback. So many people ask me, Sarah, I don't know how deep I should be squatting. I don't know what I'm ready to be doing yet. Well, the answer lies in your breath. So when you stop inhaling through your nose, that's it. That's your true mobility. Don't go any deeper in your squat. Take a look from the side. So if you were brand new to this, yours might sound and look like this. So my advice to you is once you start, don't stop, don't pause, don't dilly-dally, because then you're done. Just keep going, and as soon as you can no longer maintain that breathing pattern, you're done. So let's take a look. Did you notice that I'm not doing an exaggerated lockout at the top? You'll notice that I don't lose tension in my muscles. I just keep maintaining it the whole time. All right, now it's your turn to do the air squat. Video yourself doing it from all the angles so you can see exactly what's going on. Post it on Instagram so I can see it and give you feedback. All right, thanks for tuning into this video. I appreciate it when you watch my tutorials all the way to the end because I know I talk a lot. So for more videos just like this, be sure to subscribe. I put out weekly vlogs on how I train to overcome my imbalances. I put out exercise tutorials just like this, as well as recipe videos and videos about intermittent fasting and flexible dieting and reverse dieting. All right, I never know how to end my videos. Bye.